Hi, everyone. My name is Jeremy McGinnis, and I'm here with my partner, Mike Olson. And today we're going to be talking to you guys about Mechanical Turk and other crowdsourcing tools. So Mike will start out talking about what Mechanical Turk is and why it's useful, and I'll go into some alternatives and why it's used by various companies to improve their efficiencies.
We'll start out by talking about what crowdsourcing actually is. Crowdsourcing is the practice of obtaining information or input into a task or project by enlisting the services of a large number of people, either paid or unpaid, typically via the internet. Next, we'll talk more in depth about Amazon's Mechanical Turk. Mechanical Turk is a crowdsourcing marketplace created by Amazon Web Services that places companies or requesters who need work outsourced with workers who complete them for compensation. How Mechanical Turk works is requesters place any type of task into a large portal. There are a wide range of tasks needing completion in the marketplace that require a wide range of skill levels and time. Tasks are typically repetitive, more manual tasks that cannot be automated or done automated to be done by a computer. Anything from reading a restaurant menu, providing feedback, to writing computer code can be done on Mechanical Turk. Workers then choose which task they will complete and are paid the specified rate at completion. Workers are considered independent contractors as they decide what tasks they will complete, when they will complete them, and use their own resources like computers and other hardware to complete the task. It's a part of the gig economy, similar to Uber or Lyft drivers or food delivery services like DoorDash. Some benefits to Mechanical Turk is greater operational efficiency. It outsources repetitive, simple tasks to a larger workforce. This frees up full time employees to complete higher value work. It also increases organizational flexibility as it makes scaling employment up or down easier by working with contractors. It also helps companies control costs as outsourcing work reduces labor and overhead costs. Some drawbacks of Mechanical Turk are some ethical concerns that have been raised. The pay for tasks is typically very low, and depending on how long it takes the person to complete a task, the wage is below the minimum wage. There are also legal questions looming on the treatment of independent contractors, similar to battles that Uber and Lyft have fought in some states.
And Amazon's Mechanical Turk isn't the only crowdsourcing platform out there. So there are other alternatives that freelancers can use. One of the biggest ones is Innocentive. And what they claim is the companies can post challenges online, and then you get different freelancers that'll go after your opportunities and try to solve them. They also kind of tip their hat on that this process allows independent freelancers to gain expertise by helping others. So they might be working with one company that uses some kind of a software, working with another that uses a different one, and having these experiences helps broaden their background. Another one is Open IDEO, and what they do is they work to solve complex problems in the community. And this platform is sponsored by a couple larger known companies. For example, Nike, McDonald's, AARP, and Starbucks all work with this company, and they'll put some of their problems on and work to get the problem solved by the community. And the last one we'll talk about is Upwork. So what they do is they just allow you to post work needed, and then the freelancers will connect directly with you. So all these platforms are very similar in that companies or individuals can post problems and then be connected with freelancers to help work on their problems. So additional crowdsourcing examples. Not all crowdsourcing happens on these major platforms. So sometimes companies do it on their own. A big example that I'm pretty sure everyone's probably familiar with is Waze. And what they are is they're a mapping or GPS company. And what they have individuals do while they're driving is they'll report traffic accidents, they'll report where police are, and you kind of work as a community to make this platform easier to use and so that you can navigate better through however you're trying to get from one place to another. Another popular one is Airbnb. And so when people rent out their rooms, they're writing reviews, and this collaboration kind of creates its own crowdsourcing platform where people are connected with others so that they can rent out their apartments. Another big one is Google. So Google kind of has two different avenues. They have the restaurant reviews, where people go to restaurants, they write the reviews, and that kind of helps make the review program within Google better. And they also have different crowdsourcing examples where they'll work specifically with the public to solve um, and improve their current offerings. So a big one is Google Translate. So there can be a lot of issues when you're working with these AI computers and trying to do translations, just because there might be a lot of slang and there might be other things that make things hard to translate into different languages. So they'll work with bilingual people to help improve their translations over time. Another one is Google Maps. If you see any issues in Google Maps, you can report them and you can help by making the program better. Another big one is hackathons. And hackathons are pretty interesting where they can be from several hours to several days long. And companies or organizations will post different problems and then see how quickly people can solve them. So in 2011, the US Congress actually posted something and they tried to get people to kind of hack into their database, and then they're able to see where their weaknesses are and try to improve the process. A lot of video game companies do this to try to see if their games are easy to be hacked. And one of the biggest examples with the biggest prize was Salesforce.com uh, offered $1 million prize for somebody who could find any bugs in their systems. So these companies just essentially have a lot of different people compete and try to figure out where there's any flaws in their systems, and then they only have to compensate the ones that win. So it's a win-win where people can work on their hacking skills, and then a win where they can find their any breaches in their data or anything like that that they need to fix. So how this impacts your business strategy, as Mike talked about, it's easier to outsource tasks, and it's easy to do it with when you're looking for a highly skilled worker. So, for example, a smaller company might not need to have somebody who has a PhD in electrical engineering or anything like that, because they can outsource these specific tasks to people that have those skill levels. And when you're able to do this, a lot of times you are able to find workers that are, again, not considered employees. So you have lower overhead costs with them. You're able to get people out of different regions of the world that might have different expertise. And it also helps with time savings on bigger databases. So you can imagine if Google was trying to make all their translations or trying to make all their maps by themselves, it requires a huge amount of people to perform these tasks. So when they do this crowdsourcing, it's able to get a lot of people to work on smaller tasks so you can build your database quicker. And another important thing to consider when you're doing this is you are giving individuals who are not part of your company some of your private data. So company data security is very important when you're doing these kinds of tasks. So you need to work and make sure that you have the proper security in place because you are giving out a lot of your private information. And here are some of the references we use when making this presentation. Thanks for listening.